Hi Year 7 and 8. I'm bringing you outside today, but I would first like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land that I live and work, the Wiradjuri people. I would like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. And I'm just lucky to live where I live. Now, I'm bringing you outside today because you will have learned at some point in your primary school time about Indigenous art. You would have probably seen the beautiful traditional rock paintings, the beautiful traditional rock carvings, bark paintings and body adornment. Now, it's only a recent phenomenon from actually my vintage, 1972, that Indigenous artists began painting with acrylic paints on canvas. Prior to that, much of the art that was produced by Aboriginal people was specifically for ceremonial purposes, and a lot of it was ephemeral. Now, ephemeral can be defined as fleeting. It exists for a short period of time, it serves the purpose it was meant to serve, and then it doesn't exist anymore. So a lot of that type of ephemeral art in Indigenous cultures were body painting, but also sand art. Now, Indigenous artists created a lot of art in the sand to communicate stories about their culture. They would use lines and symbols and shapes in the sand to communicate their culture through the generations to their children and to their grandchildren. And that's how Indigenous culture was passed on through their families for tens of thousands of years. In 1972, a guy called Jeff Barden, he was an art teacher, and he went out into the Central Desert to teach art, and he came upon the traditional owners of the land out there. And what he introduced to them was acrylic paint. So we're going to combine all of those ideas into our next art making project. Now, because the theme of our art making projects so far this term are all about animals, we cannot go past Indigenous art for its unmistakable and recognisable representations of animals, because animals were and still are an integral part of Indigenous culture and identity. So I want you to spend some time today trying to work out a way to represent animal tracks in the sand. Footsteps. I watched a video with some Indigenous artists, and she was showing some kids how to do kangaroo footprints. So if you've got a sand pit at home, or just some dirt on your driveway like I've got, I would love to see you create some animal footprints in the sand or in the dirt in your driveway. It'd be great to take some photos of those and submit them for this assignment. We're going to be doing a painting based on these kinds of images as well. So the first thing you're going to need to do is think of an animal. It could be the chook you did a painting of. It could be a horse. So, you know, a horse footprints. And draw some patterns in the sand and take some photos and send them through for this assignment. That's your job today. So, number 1, choose an animal. Number 2, look at their feet, what shapes they make. And number 3, get your hands dirty. And number 4, take a photo and send it in to me. Okay guys, see ya.